So it's 33 degrees out, and I had a sick kid this morning, so my wife took the second half of the day. So I'm out here getting ready to move the cows this afternoon. And I watched her for the first half, and wife's watching her for the second half. So about 6 hours after what I would like to be moving them. We got 4 inches of snow last night, and I'm pretty excited because this is the first time I can ever remember having 10 inches of grass under 4 inches of snow. And one thing that you have to make sure if you're going to try to take your cows through without much hay is you can't do it with 2-inch grass because the cows they can't get down there and get to it. So I'm going to flip you around. This will be, I'm really excited to see what's about to happen. Hope you are too. And I hope you can learn from this, whether you're grazing this year or grazing next year. Let's see what the cows do when we turn them into this new paddock under a big fresh snow. All right, so they've been in this paddock for 2 days. I've been moving them every other day. We had an inch of rain, and then we got 4 inches of snow. We probably had 3 inches of snow last night that all melted. And then we had about, 4 to 6 inches what I got at home. I'd say probably closer to 4. And it's mostly melted, but these girls are hungry. I would have preferred to move them earlier. Soak, soak. And so this is kind of tight, and a lot of times I'm getting ready to move them into a bigger section, but a lot of times if an animal's in a tight space, they don't like it. And so I'm on this side talking, and there's a ditch on the other side, so they're going to go up there. I was hoping they'd go up and put their heads down, but they're going to trample all over this, so it is what it is. You can't tell them not to step on their own food. I wish you could, but they're going to run up. This is kind of a really big lane. I'm not sure if the landlord wants it left here or not, but it's kind of handy if you got something on the back that needs to come up to the front, so I've been leaving it. It's been here for a while because there's brush under it. I need to get the mower out and take care of that. And they're running not necessarily because they're scared of me, but they're the last ones and they feel like they're getting left behind too, but also because I'm here. So this is what they're coming off of. Got a few cows that have sore feet back here. Actually, that one's just got an itch. And you can see they've got some pugging going on, but it's just surface pugging. That'll all come back with grass in the spring. No issues. But this is a kind of a choke point here, and a lot of times, anytime you have a gate that you use year after year, time after time, you can see that we probably used to be hay and tractors and stuff fed along here. You can see how deep it is there compared to where this post is at, where the fence is, the gate is. So after a few years, you find that your gate area is kind of sink. It's also, on the other side of that ditch there. So, so what happened is they do have their bellies full. They're excited to have something fresh, but they still have grass here. They've been eating all morning, and so they're not hungry. That's why they ran in there. I was kind of concerned they were just going to run in and check things out, but they're not hungry. I do see they knocked the top of this water tank off, so they might be thirsty. That might be an issue, but they were probably they were just playing with it. And they weren't standing up here trying to drink out of it, so they're not stressed about water. Sometimes cows are just ornery. All right, let's go see what the girls are doing. So what they normally do is they run down and then they run back. And I don't want them coming up into this paddock, so once they realize they can't do that, they'll stop. I'm just gonna close this gap here keep them from running back up in here. It's not a big deal, but they'll bring their calves back up in here. And my landlord was nice enough to clear off the pond dam over there. He had his tractor and mower over here, and he did that for me. So I need to go put up that wire real quick before I fully turn them out. So we took them off of 5 acres, and again, right here, I could really start to see the difference that the rain made. We got a big rain in August, and the difference that I pulled off of here in September. And it's almost 1st of January now, but I'm really starting to see the difference in how the grass finished up the season, the growing season. Over there we had, I think we left a good amount there. We were in there for 2 days. It's a little over 5 acres. This is a bigger paddock. This is 7 acres, including this lane. So I'd say this lane's probably about 1 acre. And so what I want to do is I just want to fence off a small section over here, making sure they have access to the water tank. And then I'm going to break this into 3 days and see how that goes. I think that'll be about right. I won't leave a back fence in. You could. It would probably help with pugging. But the cattle are going to spend the only real shelter in here for these baby calves I've still got is up under and against these trees. So, you know, they'll lay down with mama. But since I got some young calves in here, and you're not going to hurt the grass by letting them come back this time of year, other than the pugging pressure. But I don't think it's going to be too bad. I've got my cow size down. If I had big 1,600 pound cows, it'd be an issue. But most of these females, I've kept them young, kept them appreciating in value, try not to hold on to a depreciating cows. So that female there, she's probably a 4-year-old cow going on 5. And she's probably, I'd guess her a little under 1,100 pounds. This smaller female closest to us here, she's probably 700. She'll have her first calf this spring. And so those type of animals, they're not gonna. This is one of my older cows in here, and she's probably 12. I don't know that she'd go 1250. She's milking, but the bull, I'd say he's probably 1,600. Pretty close to that. He's about to finish filling out his frame here shortly. I think he's still got a little bit of growing to do, and then he'll start to get real heavy once he gets done with that. But he's holding his own here. He's got a lot of cows to breed. He's not melting down much, if any. And so he's probably, I've got one cow in here. It's probably bigger than my bull, but what I'm trying to say is, if we had a bunch of really big cows, you'd want to move them faster so you didn't pug up your ground, and make sure your grass is going to go back. But that's my second heaviest cow in here. I'd call her 1250. Man, I don't think she might go 13. She got some fat on her, and but she's not going to pug too much. Anything that they step on, as long as you're not leaving them in here for over 3 days, it's probably going to come back pretty quick in the spring. So those are general principles. You know, everything changes, everything's fluid. Don't hold me to that. I may end up coming back tomorrow and say, no, they're going to create a lane, we're going to keep them off. So that's part of that flexible grazing system. I like to be flexible with my management. If the cows want to spend all their time up here under these trees, these are kind of an aggressive growing native plum, and they're hard to kill, but they would kill them if you left them under there for extended periods of time. So she's getting a good scratch. That's why we vaccinate our calves for blackleg. You can see that cow, they just, all year, every time they come in here, they get dirty, muddy. They just want that. get a good scratch, keep the lice off. No flies this time of year, but in the summer and springtime, it kind of helps with flies. But you can see we got some marking coming on. This is kind of a softer paddock. Been a lot of driving through here over the years, feeding hay, I would imagine. So some things to think about. But you can see everybody's getting a bite. These cows aren't hungry. They're full from that 5 acres. Like I said, it had good grass on it. I was originally thinking 3 days in there and 3 days in here. We ended up going about 2.5, and I'll come back in the spring and get a good graze on that. On those, that paddock and the paddock before it. This one, it's good, it's bigger. So we'll leave them in here for 3 days and see how it goes. And then after that, we'll probably, on the next 7, we'll see 2.5, 2, maybe 3. We'll just have to see how it goes. I got enough grass here and enough rest time that I'm not too worried about it. Since we're down to 1 herd on this farm. In the summertime, springtime, I'm running 2 usually. I've been running 2 every year here, so. You can see now that they've run over it, there's a lot of grass here, and they'll go back and they're gonna put their heads down now and chew on it. So anyway, I found this really interesting. This is the first time I've had a big snow turn into a lot of grass, and wanted to see what they do. And they had their bellies full from last night, or this morning, I mean. So you can see they're starting to munch now. And that's normally what you want them to do. I mean, you want them to go down to the end, hit the end, and then come back and graze back. Or if you're moving every 15 minutes, you know, they won't do that. But generally, for most folks, you want them to, if they go into a paddock and they have their head down, they're hungry. If you're moving them really, really intensively, you know, you want them to take every bite. You still have to have a paddock for them to go lay down on, you know. It'd be fun to talk to somebody who does that, but I don't necessarily know that I want to do that. Maybe moving my grass-fed, grass-finished cattle at least every day, but maybe a few times a day, that would probably add some pounds to them. But I think for the common man, I'd say at least once a week, a goal of at least one every 3 to 4 days in the growing season, so you don't get that second bite is okay. But every day or 2 is really, at a professional level, if you can get big enough to where you can get it done, it makes a big difference for your cattle's health, their weight, their well-being. It knocks out, I shot a video, if you can move them every day or 2, they have to be moved about every 3 days to maintain their protein level, especially in the wintertime. They just got to have enough energy and enough protein. But even moving every 2 or 3 every 3 days, you're going to get a big jump the first day, a plateau the second day, and a drop on that 3rd day. And that drop can stress your cow's milk and decrease their milk. And I was listening to an old dairyman one time. He said, you can never add milk back. He said, you can take it away pretty easy. He said, but that cow will never, you know, if you take a drop of milk away, she's never going to produce it again that season. So adding weight on these calves is our goal in our business, and that's how we make our profit and what we sell off of here. So we want to make sure we're doing a good job with that. So trying to get back to where I'm moving them every day. I forget it sometimes. I'm bad about it. I listen to conventional guys sometimes. They say, oh yeah, just throw out a bucket of soybean meal every 3 days. That's all you need. Or what I do with my hay feeding is I'll actually put out 2 bales of grass and then a bale of alfalfa when I've got grass hay. And that maintains that protein, keeps the manure pretty consistent. Or better yet, 3 days of grass and then 1 day of alfalfa, because I don't feed soybean or any grain to my cows. So not saying I never will if I get in a real pickle, but my goal is to never get in a real pickle. So they're putting their heads down now, and we can walk up here and watch this girl. You can see, even if we had, you know, 10 inches of snow, there'd still be some grass sticking up. They're gonna take less water now because they're eating some snow with it. You can see she's getting her tongue into it. That's a good sign that the grass is tall enough. They'll wrap their tongue around the grass, pull it in. I can't do that with short teeth. If you got, or short grass, if you got short mouth and short grass and short teeth, you got to feed grain or hay. these girls, I think they're doing all right. Body condition's still good. The gut feels good on them. You look at the left side for that. I've heard guys say you need to make sure when you're moving them, you open a paddock, you always want to be on their left side to see their gut feel. And their rumen is right here on the left. It's pushed up against the side. So if they're full here, you can see she's got a little dip. It either means they're thirsty or they're hungry. If you're always empty and you got what they call the triangle of death, it's a sign that cow's probably needing to go to the burger barn. But these cows, they're full, they're happy. I mean, they're cold. It's wet out here and it's 33 degrees, but the cows are comfortable. Some of these little calves are struggling a little bit, but they'll be all right. It's a good thing about having black cows in the winter, or black calves in the wintertime, I guess. So anyway, I'm gonna sign off here, you guys. These girls are grazing. I'm gonna get them a little bit more today, and should be good to go. So hope you found this interesting. If you're thinking about this, or look at doing it next year or something, I hope you can learn about it. I'm learning about it still, trying to get really good at it. This is my business, my profession, and my future. And so appreciate you following along. If you like this content or have questions or want to see more just like it, like, subscribe, and follow for more. We appreciate you. All right, so quick edit on what I decided to do here. Like I said, I was trying to get 3 daily moves. We've got the lane here, and I'm already telling that they get stressed sometimes, not because they have to, but just because they're like little kids and they decide to be stressed sometimes. Yes, I know that's all my fault. But they've already walked up and down this lane 4 times. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out of here where they quit thinking about me, and they get relaxed and focused on just eating. I am going to give them a section here, and then tomorrow we're gonna lock them out of that lane because I'm worried they're gonna tear that lane up pretty good. And then there are some more trees back here. I got the pond fenced off, so there's more trees back here, and we'll break this in half then. There won't be any back fence, but I'll shut that gap on the lane so they can't get up in the lane, because they are going to mess that up. Maybe not bad enough that it would really destroy things, but it wouldn't be ideal. So that's my final thoughts on it. So you guys have a good one.